Hey everybody, this is Junk from Podocalypse. I wanted to record this to kind of get it out into the interwebs, kind of out, just, out there. And I know this is nothing new. I've already talked about this on our show, Podocalypse. But again, I wanted to kind of just focus on this aspect. And I've been talking to a lot of people lately, and every time I bring this theory up, people get really like, wow, that could actually happen. So it's kind of dawned on me that I don't think people have really thought about this as much as I have, and I think that's kind of sad that I've delved this much into this theory that I have about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So this is the theory about where the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or MCU, is headed. Now, obviously, today is July 2nd, 2014 at 11:33 a.m., by now, we've already had the Avengers. We're almost at the end of the Phase 2 of the MCU. And we've had Thor the Dark World and the Winter Soldier, which brings up my very first point. When Samuel L. Jackson first got his deal with the MCU, he received a 9-film contract deal. Now, what we've seen of that is he's been on the bumpers, he's been in tags, he's been in just like parts of the films, and that constitutes part of his contract deal. Now, in the past, I've said that he only got 7 films. I was wrong. He had a 9-film deal out of this. Sebastian Stan, who plays Bucky Barnes in the Winter Soldier and the Captain America films, as of Part 2, as of Captain America 2, he has received a 9-picture deal with the MCU. Now, this is the fucking cornerstone of my theory. Now, I had been hoping they were going in this direction, but this kind of solidified my whole theory, my whole mental standpoint on this issue. The next step in the Avengers is the Age of Ultron. And then after that, we have Thanos. And Thanos is this huge fucking character, not only for the Earth 666, but in the cosmic realm as well. And they're going to play this out pretty well. I mean, they're obviously doing the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, or at least a hybrid of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. But with doing so, you need to bring in more properties. You can't just have the Avengers. It is a global event. With that in mind, we also have Disney, who owns the MCU at this current point. We have Fox, who is owning the X-Men franchise, as well as Fantastic Four, Elektra, Daredevil, and of course, the Fantastic Four reboot that's going to be happening. And then Sony, who owns Spider-Man. Now, those are like the key elements. You have, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider-Man, and then the MCU, which is covered by Disney. So eventually, and what they've been talking about for years, is eventually kind of bringing them all together under one umbrella. Even if you have to pay the company to use them, it's still... It would be a fan fucking explosion. It would be a firework display of having all these characters in one universe, because that's the way it works in the comics. And that's one of the appealing things about the comics, is you have these superheroes that at any given time can run into each other. And they have these really dramatic backstories that all arc together with each other. So I think after the Infinity Gauntlet, you're going to see a slow progression, and here's where the theory kind of comes into perspective. You're going to see a slow progression toward the Civil War arc. Now, why do I think that? First off, here's my theory. At the end of either Age of Ultron, or during the Thanos film of Avengers 3, Hulk is going to go berserk and destroy Las Vegas. I mean, hopefully. That's what happened in the books. If they don't do that, he's going to do something to get the Illuminati together. And to get the Illuminati consists of Reed Richards, Tony Stark, I believe Namor is on it too, but Black Panther, and also Doctor Strange. Now, these are like the greatest minds and forces of the Earth, and they decide to launch Hulk off into space. To do this, you need to bring together the Fox-owned Fantastic Four, Also, Doctor Strange, which is coming along right now. They're in pre-production right now. They just got a director. And then you need to bring in T'Challa, who is the Black Panther. And then you need to bring in Tony Stark, which they already own. That consists of the Illuminati, which gets Hulk off the planet, which allows for him to mysteriously go off into space and maybe do Planet Hulk, but more than likely he'll probably get blasted off into space and meet up with the Guardians of the Galaxy and bring them back down to Earth once that's all settled and done. So, why do I think they're going toward the Civil War route? Number one, they're going toward Civil War because they gave Sebastian Stan, the actor who plays the Winter Soldier, a 9-movie contract deal. Why is he that important that he has more films contracted to him than the big fucking actors like Thor or Iron Man or any of those people? He has a more contract deal. Now, obviously, if you've read Civil War, I'm not going to try and give too many spoilers in this, or I will give the spoilers, but I'll just let you know when to turn away. So they're just bear with me for right now. So they're going that route. They're going to go Civil War-esque. Now, that would be a key point to bring in the other properties from the other companies and bring them all together. To have heroes versus heroes, that would be a great introduction to each other under one umbrella story. And you can even do a 2 or 3 film arc of Civil War. And that would be really cool. Start off with the New Warriors, where they bomb the school, people start going nuts, and that's when you introduce the characters all in one film. It would be this great dramatic rise of storytelling. You know, if you were to do this beforehand, it would be like, oh, Spider-Man's in the same movie with X-Men, and in the same movie with Avengers. To have it as a Civil War, it's an instant conflict. And remember from Film 101, we need conflict for a story to work. And that would be the perfect way to bring in the other characters to instantly have conflict with one another. And to have a reason to have the conflict with one another. Not just, oh, we just met each other, let's fight a little bit. This gives the perfect reason. Number 2. And I wish I had written this down. This is just off the top of my dome right now. So bringing it back to Sebastian Stan. The Civil War story arc ends with... Now, here's the spoiler, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't want to hear it, turn away. Is that enough amount of time? All right. Civil War ends with the Winter Soldier killing Captain America. And now he takes up the helm of Captain America and kind of does his job for a while. Now, that's a huge part of it. Why else would the Winter Soldier be in so many goddamn films if they weren't headed toward that direction? Civil War was also one of the most profound stories in the Marvel Universe because it brought so many people together. Yes, the Phoenix stories bring people together. Yes, the House of M brought people together, mostly because of the mutant aspect. But this is probably, at least in my opinion, one of the biggest story arcs since the late 80s, since the fucking Infinity Gauntlet. Okay. Number 2, people have been wanting to see their characters together. You wanted to create this one cohesive universe, just like the comics. This would be the opportune time to do this. Once you start moving people together, I mean, Fox and Sony are going to make money out of this because they're going to be licensing their characters, their film characters off for exuberant amount of money, and they're going to make the money back. I mean, it's not like they're going to be at a loss here. Shit, have all 3 of them fucking produce the same movie and just have Kevin Feige or whoever is in charge of the cinematic universe at that point just to take helm. Anyway, okay, I'm getting angry, and that's not the point. To bring in the Civil War aspect, you need to bring in all these characters. Now, we are introducing Guardians of the Galaxy, which introduces Nova Corps. Now, if you're a fan or know at least the comic book world, Nova Corps are pretty much Marvel's answer to Green Lantern. They're space cops. And one of the key fighters of Nova Corps is Nova. And Nova is, when he's on his home planet Earth, he is part of the group New Mutants. Now, New Mutants also consist of Speedball, Night Thrasher, and Girl Atlantis, Namor's daughter. I forget her name. And I think there's one other character. But that, in introducing Nova, would bring it back to Earth. And once you're back to Earth, you have the New Mutants. You can introduce this small spin-off story, similar to like what Netflix is doing with Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, the whole Hell's Kitchen crew. Bring in Speedball, bring in these other fun characters. There's a great fucking story that New Mutants did years ago, like New Mutants Reality, whatever, where they, with a New Mutants team, got back together after they broke up to start a reality TV show. Now, the reality TV show, the comic series was done by Scotty Young, which is one of my favorite artists, and I think that's what hooked me. And then the story really hooked me. And then right after that story ended, a year or two goes by, and that's when Civil War picks up with them trying to do the reality show and cornering Nitro into an elementary school, blowing up kids, and having the world go into a frenzy about superheroes. Because right now, in all these movies, people are starting to side with the superheroes. You need the slow downfall of more destruction. New York was a big destruction in Avengers, but it was from an alien race. And I think once you start having more superhero versus supervillain fighting, you're going to have more debates from the public who want superheroes to take responsibility for their actions that they're causing. Mayhem, destruction, things like that. If Superman was in this world, we could have easily used the Man of Steel reference and how he destroyed the whole fucking town, city, whatever. He killed more people in that movie than any of the villains did combined. So anyway, I believe the Marvel Universe is heading toward the Civil War realm due to these facts, and one of the key elements is you need to get Hulk off it because he is way too fucking strong to be paired up against Spider-Man or any of the other human-esque characters. So you need to get them off planet, and during that off planet sense time, then you can bring in the Civil War aspect. So either they are going to do Planet Hulk or they're going to do a variation of Planet Hulk. And then once Civil War is enacted in the MCU, that opens up the realm for just incredible more stories. And then you can start playing with your own stories. Then you can start, bringing in all these little side characters. Then you can have Cloak and Dagger come in and Moon Knight and all these fucking great fucking side characters and Power Pack, for God's sake. I mean, you can do a ton of shit, and I would love to see a Runaways Netflix show. I think it would be fucking fantastic, just throwing it out there. Just please don't do Avengers vs. X-Men. God damn, I was a big fan of the Phoenix coming down, but that series just was terrible. Anyway, but once the Civil War happens, you have endless possibilities. You're no longer restricted, and then you can totally have fun with it and have this whole fucking world to play with. So that's my theory. I'm sticking to it. Let's see where the MCU goes, and hit me up. Let me know your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts on this theory. If I'm wrong in a certain area, or if you're no, I think it would go this way because of this, hit me up. Email is podacalypse@gmail.com. It's PODOCALYPSE at gmail.com. Again, my name is Junk from Podacalypse. Thank you for joining me on this little audio adventure of my theory of the MCU.